The voice,
the heart,
the soul of the Cayman Islands.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the people's station. Your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Wednesday, the 9th of February, 2022, right here in the Cayman Islands. I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or operating any type of motorized vehicle, we again urge you to please, please, please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road, and by so doing, the life that you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, and like we said, many birthdays in the month of February, so if you're celebrating one today, we want to wish you a happy birthday, or if you've celebrated one over the past few days, a belated happy birthday to you as well. For those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to express our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely, extremely challenging times, and also that the memories of your loved ones will continue to be a blessing to you as well. For those of you who are ill, either at home or at a medical facility, we want to wish you a speedy recovery as well. So folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Ort Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open, not all of the time, depending on the guests that we have and what we're discussing at the point in time. But whenever those phone lines are open, you're welcome to call us. You can use our toll-free number that is provided courtesy of Flow, that toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. And of course, if you make those calls, then you will, of course, be greeted by that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson. You can also email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky, and I have several emails that I have received, some a few days ago, that I have been unable to share with you, but I will still do so because what is in those emails is certainly still relevant. So I will still share those with you, the old ones as well as those recently received ones as well. And of course, You can WhatsApp us 925-3261, or if you just simply want to follow us, you can do that by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. That's on YouTube as well. So this morning we have no guests in the studio. Dr. Macfield, the busy man that he is, if time allows this morning, he will be in the studio, but he has several undertakings this morning, and if he is able to make it, we're not sure how long he will be able to be here, but he's going to try his endeavor to be here if his schedule allows as well. Meanwhile, right here on Radio Cayman, we have to continue to promote and to recognize our own Caymanians. Sometimes if we don't do it, we can't expect others to do it for us, and some simply won't want to do it while others may. So I'm going to share with you first thing this morning the press release that was issued, and this was issued on February the 6th, and has to do with the Queen's honors, and this is in relation to Miss Sharon Smith, who was honored with the MBE, Member of the British Empire. And so the release starts by saying, when a governor's office staff are called to inform retired Deputy Clerk of Parliament, Miss Sharon Smith, that she was chosen to be a member of the Order of the British Empire, MBE, by Her Majesty the Queen, she could not believe her ears. I was astonished, as I did not expect to hear such news, Miss Smith says. After she got over the initial shock, her excitement grew at the once-in-a-lifetime honor. It was made even sweeter by the recognition also coming for long-standing public service to the Cayman Islands community, including her beloved East End, where she was delivered by a midwife in 1954 at her uncle's home and has resided in the district ever since. She now has the privilege of adding MBE after her name and before her Justice of the Peace, JP title. Yet her innate humility and pragmatic nature still shines out. And I'm going to pause there for a second and just say that Miss Sharon is certainly blessed with humility. She is a very, very humble person, yet accommodating, and no one can question her competency, as well, because she performed quite well, admirably, I would say, in her role as Deputy Clerk in our Parliament. And like many civil servants of the day, she was able, and these are my words now, she was able to move up the ranks to become Deputy Clerk. We know, you heard the Deputy Governor here on Friday talk about opportunities for Caymanians, the effort to Caymanianize the civil service, and spoke about his projection up the ladder in the civil service as well. Started out as an after-school work experience intern at the Immigration Department and rose to the position of Deputy Governor of the Cayman Islands as well. So again, we see Ms. Sharon Smith achieving what she has achieved by coming up through the ranks as well, and just want to say that we have to continue to leave those doors, those windows, and if we have to take the roof off to ensure that Caymanians are able to have their rightful place in their own country as well. And we'll be talking more about that as well, because there are many who are of the opinion, and rightfully so, believe that those opportunities are being eroded, and that while the Cayman Islands may be, quote unquote, progressing, that may not necessarily be the same for all Caymanians as well, especially those who have to battle their way. So we need to leave those, open those doors, open those windows, pry open the cracks, and like I said, raise the roof, take the roof off if we have to clear the way, for Caymanians as well. So it's again, I'm going to just read that part about the fact that she now has the privilege of adding MB after her name and before her Justice of the Peace JP title. Yet her innate humility and pragmatic nature still shines out. This stalwart of the civil service retired in December 2020 after almost a half a century, 47 years, 7 months to be exact, spent working for the Legislative Assembly, which she saw transition to a parliament. Her dedication to her work in the Legislative Assembly was legend throughout her career, notably her commitment to helping guide and inform newly elected members of the Legislative Assembly, later MPs. During this time, Ms. Sharon, as she is better known, was often the go-to person over the years for information regarding historical and procedural matters as well as rules. This applied equally to legislators, speakers of the House, when newly appointed, and colleagues. She's a fount of knowledge and anecdotes about every aspect of the legislature from the 70s in the previous century to the present, as well as the colorful personalities who walked its corridors as the people's representatives and government members. The veteran civil servant who turned 68 on the 14th of January 2022 completed high school in 1972. And it says here that one had to be 7 years old to start primary school in those days. We can talk about that as well. We didn't have any preschool. You had primary school. You had to wait till year 7 as well for that. And as you've heard from Dr. Steve McPhail and the history of the Cayman Islands, when some schools started in the Cayman Islands, there were certain children that they didn't want to be taught as well in one of those schools, and the headmaster, the teacher there, rebelled against that as well. But I can have Dr. Steve McPhail share that story with you. You've heard it before, but it's always good to hear it again, because it helps to remind us of the challenges that we have gone through here in the Cayman Islands. So one had to be 7 years old to start primary school when Miss Sharon Smith was growing up. She then went on to the International College of the Cayman Islands, ICCI, and ICCI was there before we had the UCCI. Long before that, many people went through ICCI, and they need to be given the recognition and that they should be given, for their role in helping to educate Caymanians as well. So she went on to the International College of the Cayman Islands to successfully complete a secretarial course. After that, it was straight to the Legislative Assembly. She was tested by then Clerk and later National Hero Honorable Sybil McLaughlin and appointed to start on the 1st of June 1973 as a clerical assistant. So, as a 19-year-old, she began her career on a starting salary of $174 as one amongst only 5 employees in the house. Now, I believe this $174 was probably $174 per month. I'm not sure because it doesn't say. The rest is history. As Miss Sharon climbed the ranks till she was named deputy clerk, a position in which she also served as the acting clerk on a number of occasions. Over the course of her career, Miss Sharon fondly recalls many who made an impact on her life, such as Mr. Willie Farrington, the Cayman Islands' first national hero, Honorable James Manoa Borden, Captain Keith Tibbetts, Mr. Armand Panton, Mr. Claude Hill, Mr. Berkeley Bush, former Chief Secretaries, Mr. Dennis Foster and Mr. Desmond Watler, to name a few. She also recalls the House growing from only 12 members to now 19 MPs, recalling the time she represented the Cayman Islands in international conferences over the years, including at Nairobi, Kenya, and regionally in St. Kitts and the Turks and Caicos Islands. She says, more or less, it was a learning experience all the way through. And over the years, she grew into a solid authority on rules, procedures, and house business matters, learning much from her superiors and in turn teaching newcomers to the house, whatever their position might be. Her work in the community includes assisting with teaching in the Girls Brigade, serving as secretary to the East End Pirates Week Committee, as well as secretary and accounts officer for the East End Community Development Committee, each for a number of years. In addition to her deep community roots in the entire district, and more specifically Gun Bay, Miss Sharon is also a devoted family person. Her husband, Mr. Joseph H. Smith Sr., who is originally from Honduras, got status in 1989 and has lived in Cayman for over 3/4 of his life, was a carpenter and mason in the building trade and later retired to be a cattle and produce farmer. Their son, Joseph Smith Jr., and his wife, Miss Joanne, have 3 children who are the pride and joy of their grandmother. Their daughter, Miss Melissa N. Smith, also a civil servant, works for Education Services. Miss Sharon's parents were also from East End. Her father, the late Mr. Vernon Dixon, used to work with the Caymanian Enterprise Wholesome Bakery, while her mother, the late Miss Natalie Rankin Nee Borden, raised the children. Miss Smith recalls life was not easy in those days, including when many mothers still delivered babies in their own homes. With the assistance of midwives, her grandmother, Mrs. Mercita Borden, was a midwife in East End, being able to provide a number of proven, tested, and tried bush medicines to her quote-unquote patients, including for pain, she remembers. All in all, Miss Sharon has embraced her new life as a retired person and is given thanks for her life, her family and friends, and above all, her beloved nation and community, with which she still engages on a daily basis. Her one message to young Caymanians: to never be shy of hard work, dedication to duty, love, and active service to the community and fellow Caymanians, young and old alike. She's quoted as saying, "The Cayman Islands is a beautiful place to live and grow. Let us give thanks always and work hard to preserve the good qualities that make us unique." Again, I want to say thank you very much to Miss Sharon Smith for her service as well. We're over to time for a commercial break, but I didn't want to interrupt that and have to come back to start in the middle of it again. She is worth every bit of those 4 minutes that we went over. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Since its early beginning, the Cayman Islands tourism product has targeted middle to upper class segments. In 1949, Benson Greenwald, a wealthy British visitor, began construction on the empty West Bay beach of the Galleon Beach Hotel with a dozen rooms. Greenwald was instrumental in the passage of the Caymanian Hotel Aids Law of 1950, which provided exemptions from import duties and taxes for anyone building a hotel with more than 10 rooms. Along with the Galleon, the new law kick-started the development fury with Marin's Seaview Lodge and Pageant Beach Hotel. By 1960, there were 9 hotels, clubs, and guest houses in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way, positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place, helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vamp Motors has 3 great reasons why you should own the Toyota CHR. Hybrid save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven. So there's no need to plug in your hybrid, making it both economical and fun to drive. And you don't have to replace your battery every 2 years. The CHR Hybrid is reliable, providing up to 1 million kilometers on the same battery and engine. Oh, and now you can save $2,000 off the Toyota CHR, starting at only $33,500.
That's way more than 3 reasons.
True, but the best one is that it's on sale now. Test drive the Toyota CHR today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road, while stocks last.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio. I just want to say that I shared this press release with you about Miss Sharon Smith verbatim. The reason I shared it verbatim was because I didn't feel that parceling this, cutting it up and, just ad-libbing on it would do service and justice to what has been said about Ms. Smith. And I put this question out there to you. This was released on the 7th of February. How many radio stations have you heard read this or share this with you? How many newspapers, printed press, have shared this with you as well? You think about that. Think about that. If we don't promote our own, and if we don't promote ourselves, we shouldn't sit and expect others to do it for us. I say that without any apology whatsoever. So, folks, you've been hearing about these local banks and in other jurisdictions as well, requiring so much, charging so fees for various services and everything else. And we know that it is not restricted to the Cayman Islands, not restricted to the Caribbean, as well. We have seen where in Jamaica, for instance, some institutions have agreed to, again, delay the fee implementation a little bit longer. I'm going to share this one with you. This has to do in Spain. This concerns Spain, and it concerns a man who's a doctor, a retired doctor. So he's an educated person and expresses his concerns. Spanish retiree fights digital bank divide, seeks human help. Right? A Spanish retiree campaigning to keep in-person customer service at banks because he felt, quote unquote, left out by the shift to online banking is handing government officials a petition with more than 610,000 signatures amid a wave of national support for his cause. Now, we here in the Cayman Islands have heard people call up, and while those who call into talk shows may not be fully representative of the population of the Cayman Islands, those are the ones who choose to air their concerns and their grievances. And I say kudos to those, because too many of us remain silent, remain quiet, and we reap the benefits when those brave and gallant few put their reputations and everything else on the line to fight for you, and then you reap the benefits of it, as well. So it goes on to say that Carlos San Juan, 78 years, a retired doctor from Valencia in southeast Spain, traveled to Madrid and was to hand the signatures Tuesday to the Secretary of State for the Treasury at the Economy Ministry. His petition struck a chord with many people in Spain as banks seek to drive business online. As the campaign gathered momentum last month, he received a phone call from the governor of the Bank of Spain, the country's central bank, and the government publicly appealed to banks to ensure they were meeting the needs of older people. Spain's government minister for economic affairs and digital transformation stood alongside Mr. San Juan and promised effective measures by the end of the month to address the problem. Referring to Spain's estimated 10 million retirees, San Juan said outside the economy ministry that he was motivated by the desperation of many, many people who feel excluded. This one I'm going to have to interrupt because we reached the top of the hour. 8 o'clock news. When we return, yes, Miss Susan whipped out that timer and switch and, you know what I mean, said, if you don't close off on time for us for the 8 o'clock news, I'm going to give you a good whooping. So here we go. 8 o'clock news. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And the studio time now by Foster's is 8 o'clock.
It's time to live well with Foster's and CG Brit K.
Live Well is your source for recipe ideas and lifestyle tips to help you achieve your healthy living goals.
Head to livewell.fosters.ky and discover healthy snacks for kids and tips for sticking to your healthy eating New Year's resolution.
Plus, you'll also find our latest Live Well recipe.
This week, we have grilled shrimp and apple skewers full of fresh, affordable ingredients.
Get started at livewell.fosters.ky.
Live Well with Foster's and CG Brit K.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Caymanbrac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. Annual event Coral Fest gets pulled from the Department of Environment's calendar. More from Radio Cayman's Shanda Gallego.
Officials with the Department of Environment say the ongoing spread of COVID in the community is to blame for the cancellation of the annual Coral Fest, an event aimed to celebrate the reefs of the Cayman Islands and raise awareness on the challenges they face. A Facebook post by the DOE cites they're not sure when they'll be able to host the kind of in-person festival they envisioned. In the meantime, they're looking to put on a COVID-friendly alternative event with a, quote, virtual aspect that will celebrate the love for corals safely. Officials thanked all those who have been on board for Coral Fest. They say efforts won't go to waste as they have big plans for Coral Fest in the future. Shanda Gallego, Radio Cayman News.
You can follow the DOE's Instagram and Facebook pages to catch all of the updates for the new event. The Maples Group announces a new 3-year partnership with the nonprofit marine organization Central Caribbean Marine Institute. The group will donate $25,000 each year for the next 3 years, and its contributions will be used to support CCMI's research, conservation, and education within the Cayman Islands and across other Caribbean communities. The partnership is part of CCMI's Navigator program. And government reported 535 new cases of COVID-19 with more than 5,300 active cases on the books. On Friday, there were 204 positive cases reported, 156 on Saturday, and 175 logged on Sunday. 7 of those positives were in the sister islands. In regional news, the Argentine president landed in Barbados this week for a meeting with Prime Minister Mia Mottley on Tuesday amid strong COVID-19 restrictions for reporters. It's the South American head of government's last stop on an international tour, which included Russia and China. He was welcomed at about 4:40 p.m. local time at the international airport by the foreign minister of Barbados. In addition to meeting with the prime minister, Alberto Fernandez held an encounter with representatives of the countries that make up the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, including Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and St. Lucia. Motley offered Fernandez an on-site tour of her country's undertakings regarding climate change prevention. The prime minister was the first woman elected to her position in 2018 and was re-elected last month by a landslide. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Jerry Smith. The Kremlin says Russia's joint military exercises with Belarus will be larger than usual due to tensions over Ukraine and perceived threats. NATO believes 30,000 troops will be involved in the games starting tomorrow, as well as air defence systems, fighter jets and nuclear-capable missiles. The Western Alliance has called it the biggest such deployment since the Cold War. A report by a parliamentary committee in Britain says Brexit has increased business costs, created border delays and dampened trade. It says the government must be honest about the problems. Police in southern India have arrested 15 people in connection with the violence that broke out following protests against female Muslim students wearing the hijab. All high schools and colleges in Karnataka have been shut for 3 days. The High Court is considering petitions from students challenging moves by some colleges to ban the headscarves. President Museveni has appointed as Uganda's chief of police an army officer who's blacklisted by the US over alleged human rights violations. A former head of intelligence, Major General Abel Kandiho, has been accused of abuses, including electrocution and sexual assault. The Central Bank of the Netherlands has released the results of an independent investigation into its historical links with the transatlantic slave trade. It found that 3 of the bank's directors had been involved in drawing up a compensation package offered by the Dutch government to former slave owners. On the 5th day of competition at the Beijing Winter Olympics, Slovakia's Petra Vlhova produced a stunning second run to take gold in the women's ski slalom. The favourite, Michaela Schifrin, slid out of medal contention. Her fellow American, Lindsay Jacob-Ellis, took her first Olympic gold at the age of 36 in the women's snowboard cross. BBC News.
From BBC World Service, this is The Coming Storm.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Pleasant good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Present temperature is 76 degrees. Relative humidity is 86%. The barometric pressure is 29.94 inches and falling. The winds are calm. Overnight low temperature was 74 degrees. Synopsis indicate cloudiness and showers associated with a weak surface trough near the Cayman area may spread into the area at times during the next 24 hours. The trough is expected to dissipate this evening. Further north, a cold front over western Cuba is expected to weaken and to become stationary just northwest of the Cayman area Thursday morning. Satellite images show patches of low-level clouds over the Cayman area moving towards the west. Now the forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies, becoming cloudy at times, with a 40% chance of showers, and temperatures will rise to the mid-80s today. Winds will be north to northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be smooth to slight with wave heights of less than 2 feet. Pretty much the same for tonight, partly cloudy skies, becoming cloudy at times with a 40% chance of showers, and temperatures dipping to the mid-70s tonight. Winds will be north to northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be smooth to slight with wave heights of less than 2 feet. Low tide will be this afternoon at 12:54, high tide again this evening at 5:27, and a low tide tonight at 11:57. The sun will set this evening at 6:21 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:57. And the outlook is calling for light easterly winds and slight seas from Thursday afternoon.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the people's station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach. The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit Subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at what's happening on the roads. Busy traffic coming from the east on Shamrock Road. Heavy traffic on the Linford Pearson Highway. Lots of patience needed this morning as you're heading down to Georgetown. Traffic also busy coming off of the Linford Pearson Highway on Agnes Way. We understand there's an accident in South Sound area. Please drive with extra caution. And westbound traffic on Crew Road is busy, and eastbound traffic on Crew Road moving along moderately. Coming from the West Bay 4-way stop, traffic is moving along pretty good. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue traffic flowing at a good pace. As we look to the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moderate in both directions. And on Edward Street, light to moderate traffic flow. And Shedden Road, things looking pretty good as traffic flowing steadily. That's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report.
Subway makes it easy for you to stay on top of your health and wellness goals with our Fresh Fit menu options. Choose from 5 Fresh Fit Subway sandwiches with only 450 calories or less per 6-inch sub. Turkey breast, veggie, oven roasted chicken, Black Forest ham, sweet onion chicken teriyaki, or make your 6-inch Fresh Fit sub into a salad or wrap prepared with fresh vegetables. For a full menu and nutritional information, visit subway.ky. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit Subway.ky to place your catering order today.
It's time to update your information. If you've recently changed your mailing address, phone number, or email address, please let your Water Authority customer service team know. Visit our website, www.waterauthority.ky, to download and fill out our customer information update form. Or contact our customer service team at info@waterauthority.ky or call 949-2837.
Let me tell you something. I've been fishing our island since I was a boy, and it's getting harder and harder to get a good catch. Maybe it's because there are so many more people in Cayman than ever before. Maybe it's because of how the climate is changing. I don't know about that, but I do know that I want to be able to keep fishing and teach my children to fish one day as well. So it makes sense to me that we have certain areas and certain times of the year to fish for certain things. This year, a new rule was placed on fishing for grouper that says no one can fish for Nassau or grouper anywhere in Cayman from December 1st to April 30th while they're spawning. There is also no fishing allowed at all for any kinds of fish in the spawning zones, and no scuba diving there either. It feels unfair not to be allowed to fish where my dad had taught me to fish, but I know that being patient now means we can keep fishing for many more generations. We're all in this together, right?
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guest in the studio. Our phone line, toll-free number, provide courtesy of Flow, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261. So this retired Spanish doctor, 78 years old, 600 and odd thousand signatures on a petition, and he's demanding changes. So referring to Spain's estimated 10 million retirees, San Juan said that outside the economy ministry, that he was motivated by the desperation of many, many people who feel excluded. On his petition website, he complained that nowadays almost everything is done on the internet, and we don't understand those machines. This exclusion, he said, demanding human attention when he goes into a bank. He said at times he felt humiliated when asking for help from a bank employee, and they treated him as if he was an idiot because he couldn't perform the functions on a computer at a device at the bank. His slogan on change.org is "Soy mayor, no idiota." Soy mayor, no idiota. And translated into English, that is, I am a senior. I'm a senior citizen. I'm a senior citizen, not an idiot. Soy mayor, no idiota. I'm a senior citizen, not an idiot. So, folks, I'm sharing this with you to say that what we believe is happening here in the Cayman Islands, that these financial institutions, in particular the commercial banks, are trying to steer you to their online services. As a result, they may be using those fees to try to discourage you. And at the same time, what they're doing is they're discriminating against those individuals who would who either don't have access or do not have the ability to basically the wherewithal to understand all that is required in terms of online services. Okay, I'm going to share this email with you. This one was received, and I have permission to use the person's name, but I'm going to choose not to. That person may choose to call in during the course of the show as well, and if they want to, they can identify themselves. But even though I have permission to use the person's name, I won't do so. So the person wrote, says, "OC, I'm a regular listener to your show. If I'm on island or off island, whenever possible." They go on to say that reading the Compass headlines today, where $1.43 billion of real estate transactions took place in 2021, to me was very, very frightening. Think of it, $1.43 billion. Who thinks that's good and is bragging about it? Let's pose some questions or comments. 1, price range of $750,000 to upwards of $10 million. 2, how many indigenous Caymanians are buying? Yes, some private homes are being built. How many indigenous persons are building? Are they building on prime real estate? 3, a population of approximately 30,000 indigenous Caymanians. Where will they go or their children go? Out to sea? 4, you think a one-time stamp duty with absolute title is enough? Isn't it time for an annual real estate tax for the wealthy, expatriate buyers with or without residency? Isn't it time for a capital gains tax for those buyers? 5, 20 years ago, I was talking about a revolution. A revolution does not mean blood being shed. Sometimes it leads to that. But in this case, I mean, the meaning of revolution is, it means change, a change to come. And 6, Caymanians, you are being left behind. Everything that's happening in front of our eyes is against us. Step up. Change your thinking. It takes take over and change things. Some lawmakers know that what's going to happen. Most of them don't. The regiment is in place. And says, the person asked me to get Dr. McField to comment if that individual is wrong about what they said in this email, and he would like to hear from Dr. McField if possible as well. I'm going to come back to this email at some point in time, and we can go over the various points that he raised as well. Meanwhile, we have two callers on hold, so let's go to the first caller. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, I am fine. How you doing?
I'm fine, thanks.
Yes, I have one issue this morning. I want to talk about those speeders on Shamrock Road.
Mm-hmm.
It's terribly ridiculous. Look at the gentleman from down that works at Hurley's. He got knocked down. The man don't know who knocked him down.
Mm-hmm.
We had another person that got knocked down a couple of days ago.
Yes.
Where is the police? The police needs to be on Shamrock Road straight up 5 o'clock in the morning, because this is ridiculous. I can talk about it because I have to cross the road to get to the other side of the road to catch a bus. And one driver might stop, but you got to watch the other driver because he going 100 miles an hour. He not going to stop. We need the flashing lights with the buzzer, and we need the police to be on the road. And even with the buzzer and the flashing lights, sometimes the people don't want to stop. It is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. People is getting knocked down, and not only that, there's no evidence of who knocked you down or whatever.
Do you think more cameras on the road where they could read the license plates and stuff like that would be helpful? You think the government should invest more in more cameras? We know that some people, question it and talk about privacy issues and stuff like that, but sometimes one's individual privacy rights should not necessarily trump the safety and the saving the life of others as well. What do you think about the cameras?
Of course, we need the cameras, but also we need the police to be on the road, even say from 5 o'clock in the morning. This place is like a racetrack,
mm-hmm.
and it's ridiculous. You have to be very careful crossing the road to get to the other side, because one driver will stop, and another one, he coming a 100 miles, he not going to stop,
mm-hmm.
and this is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't see a sign of a police officer on the road or whatever to the MP that the police falls on now.
No, the police falls under the governor's office, and I think between the governor and the deputy governor, that's where the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service falls under. Now we have public transport. We have public transport that falls under a ministry, and roads that fall under ministry. But the police department itself, that's the province of the governor.
Well, we really need something done, because this people is getting knocked down, and there's no sign and no evidence of who knocked you down. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The gentleman from Hurley's got knocked down. He don't know who knocked him down. A couple of days ago, somebody else got knocked down. And it is hard for you to get across from one side of the road because of these drivers going 100 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. And something needs to be done, because this has been an issue for how many years? It's time that something be done.
Okay, we'll comment more about that during the course of the show as well. Caller, thank you very much for that. And I want to say quickly that maybe we have placed too much emphasis on the movement of vehicles and not enough emphasis on the movement of pedestrians and safety of other road users as well. That only came into being when the then minister, Arden McLean, started, with bike lanes on roads. We see the DART Corporation also encompassing that in their road building and the West Bay area, as well. But all of the emphasis has always been placed on the movement of vehicular traffic and not pedestrians and other road users as well, unfortunately. Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Ossie. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you, my friend?
Good. Remember last week, I think it was, I voiced the same concern about the speeders and the police.
Mm-hmm.
And I also mentioned that when I was growing up, we had more police visibility on the roads than we do today. And there are much more police officers and much more cars today. The only time you see them is when shift changing. That is, like what the lady said, ridiculous. It is not something. Put the helicopter in the sky. What they got her for? You know, in these areas, they can radio to the car and say, "Hey, look, just blew Nissan, this blue Chevy, this blue whatever is coming down here driving like a maniac."
But
this past weekend, actually Monday, someone nearly sideswiped me doing the same foolishness, and this is 5 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah. Now, caller, I know you're in the technical, field as well, and I shared with my audience articles about new technology, new cameras now that can, even with tinted windows, can pick up movement. They can tell what your movement is inside the car, whether or not you're reaching for a phone, whether or not you're on the phone when driving. Do you think that we need to invest more in technology? Because even if the police on the road, yes, that may deter persons from driving faster. But if two persons are breaking the law at two different points, we're not going to have police at every point where the law is being broken. But you can have cameras at more points where you can pick it up, and you change the legislation so that it leans more towards the prosecution than it does towards the offender.
Oh, see, I agree with that, and I will say no at the same time, because we have, you would say, the speed cameras on the road right now that's supposed to have technology in them. Are they being utilized? No. So they spend all the money buying these equipment, but they don't utilize them. That's a waste of money.
Or we say that we're getting equipment that's supposed to do certain things, and whether or not we have been duped by the persons who's selling it to us, and we don't get what they ended up giving us a 6 for a 9.
That is a possibility too. But the main issue I called about was the banks.
Yeah.
You know, you go into either bank and you ask any of the clerks in there why they're taking this fee for you, and you will get, if you go to 5 different tellers, you will get 5 different answers. No one can tell you specifically what this is for.
Yeah.
And let's say, for argument's sake, I don't have any cash on me, but I have a check, and I owe you $10. I write you a $10 check. What you get out of it? Absolutely nothing. The bank take the $10.
Yeah, quite possible. Yeah.
You know, that's something that the government or monetary authority needs to look into, and they have not. I've voiced it over and over and over and over again. It seems like we might have to demand something through a petition.
Well, like I pointed out, we see what people are doing in other jurisdictions as well. They're even in Jamaica, they went to their legislators. The legislators have put pressure. Some banks have refused to relent. But at the end of the day, you're only going to get results when you take action. Sometimes you take things into your own hands and you get out there, you protest. You either get petitions, written to show that. See, here in the Cayman Islands, we have a tendency to blow off steam, and then after we blow steam off, then we're right back to square one.
The thing is, it's only a few of us that will come on the air and voice it. The others stay in the background and say, "Go ahead. You, yeah, you go ahead and do it." And when it comes time then to stand up, when you look behind you, there's nobody
there. Yep.
So but I am willing to get the ball rolling. Anyway.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. Have a great day. Please stay safe. We do have other callers on hold. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we return, we will take those callers, so please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Call 949-7331 and ask about MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
How do I lose weight and keep it off?
I can't just eat salads. Have you tasted my family's rundown? And oh, what about the turtle meat?
These are common questions I hear from people when it comes to weight loss. Learn how to lead a healthier lifestyle, the one you desire, and successfully manage your weight with my proven step-by-step process and my new book, New Shoes, A Journey of Self-Discovery.
Working with Donna has helped me create a healthier lifestyle. Old habits are no longer a challenge. If you're looking for help in managing life, reducing weight, and maintaining a lifestyle that fits your wellness goals, Donna Mitchell is the coach you need.
New Shoes, A Journey of Self-Discovery has been tried and tested on hundreds of participants in the Cayman Islands and is available on Amazon and Kindle. Order your copy today. Visit inspiredwithdonna.com for more details.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have 3 callers on hold, so we're going to go through those callers. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C.
Good morning. How are you?
All right, sir. You got a hot topic again this morning. But at least that's what the For the Record is for.
Oh, yes. We want to get the conversation going. Yeah, yes.
Well, the topic that they're talking about, the pedestrians and everything, if you can recall very good, I think if it was in October, it was November, when the governor was on the air, that I had to call the governor to tell him that he needs to look into these cameras that are on the road that should be doing its job, and they were not working.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to know whether the governor said he was going to look into it, because he was informed that with a couple of people. So yes, we need the cameras, but it's not good to be putting more cameras out there and they're not doing a job. And we pay millions of dollars a year to have them to operate to help us.
Mm-hmm.
The police can't be everywhere all the time, but if the cameras was working properly, it would be doing its job, and then we would be getting value for money.
Yeah, if the cameras have the capability of doing the things and capturing what it is that we want them to capture. Yes.
But that's what I thought the cameras was for. I don't think the camera just a display, because we don't need no more displays.
Well, we haven't really have. Yeah, we haven't really had clarity on that, and whether or not it is a state secret or something that they're trying to hold in terms of what the cameras can do. What I can say at the end of the day, it is that I haven't seen or heard much about prosecutions based on the evidence from the camera as far as speeding is concerned, or persons talking on the phone using their hands while driving and other things.
Well, that's the thing. This was why I questioned it, because a police officer, there was a robbery that took place in the area, and we asked the police, we know that there's a camera on the display, and the police officer said that they come to find the camera was not working. So what is the purpose of having a camera? We're paying all this money and the camera not serving its purpose. We don't need that.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody needs to be held accountable for I don't know how we would be able to prove how long it was, because this is what's happening to us. We've been raped and pillaged in every shape and form by everybody. Arab for the phone, they're milking cow, and they're just milking the cow. So, I mean, somebody got to get accountable because this is too much corruption.
Yep.
It is corruption. Don't care how you take it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. Please stay safe as well. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello.
Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Am I on or here?
Yes, you are, Billy. Yes, you are. Right on there.
Okay, very well. Thanks very much. Good morning to everybody, of course. I joined you a little bit late, so I'm risking being totally off topic, but I imagine it's open mic so I can comment about the work permit.
Sure.
You see, the work permit issue is one of the most disappointing things that various governments have displayed. I watched your interview last week with the Deputy Governor's team, and that was talked about. They were talking about the new website. And then, I empathize with the number of people who called during that show to say, hey, look, this issue about jobs for Caymanians is not being dealt with. And now, we've got the thing which has arisen again, but not for the first time, about real estate brokers, whether those jobs should be reserved for Caymanians, because it appears to be one area where Caymanians could really excel, and they don't need like 10 years experience or 10 years or 5-6 years training. Anyway, now the usual explanations have been given, and even this government now is saying, we can't have a blanket restriction just for Caymanians, because that's not going to solve anything. But you see, that's exactly what the problem is.
Yeah. And if I can interrupt you for a second, Billy.
Sure.
I've seen on social media where some people are reading that statement incorrectly. They believe that there's going to be a clampdown on the issue of work permits for real estate agents. That's really not it's what you're saying now. Some people are misinterpreting it.
People have asked to say, can this be done?
Yes.
But what the government has said was, no, we don't want a blanket restriction on anything, and that's what has been said.
Yeah.
And in my view, OC, if you do only three things, if the government does only three things, you can see within weeks the fact that the Caymanians getting in jobs. One, amend Section 26 of the Public Service Management Law. Make it clear that if a Caymanian qualifies for a job, they should not have to compete with somebody from outside the country, give them the job unless there is a problem of performance. Two, Regulation 6 of the immigration regulations, make it mandatory to have a succession plan, because at the moment it doesn't mandate a succession plan. And finally, have some categories of work which are restricted to Caymanians.
Yes.
There are areas in Cayman today where there are enough Caymanians to do the job, and yet they are still getting people from work permits. But you see, the problem also is that every government which comes in, I'll be very blunt, every government which comes in is controlled by certain handlers in the private sector. And so, exactly, and so those handlers don't change and their policies don't change. And that is why you see, even the PACT government, I'll be very frank with you, even the PACT government, I don't think is exempt from that. I put myself into trouble, I think, by saying that, but I have to say that is what the problem is. If they do these three things, within weeks, they will see a change in the market.
And Billy, if Dr. Mark Field was here, he would also say, and I'm sure you agree with this, that I think it is it Section 16 that provides a carve out for government anything. I'll find it and read it later. But basically, we can craft laws that favor Caymanians, and that would not be unconstitutional.
100% correct, and he has said that many times. That if you discriminate in the area of employment, Caymanians and non-Caymanians, it will be lawful, constitutional, and there's nothing unconstitutional. And the only reason that that is not being done is the reason that I have stated. And I don't know what people have to do because they are electing new governments, but the new governments are not doing anything. So why are people electing new governments? Might as well bring the handlers in to run the government, but of course that can't happen.
They do a better job of running it from the fringes from the outside.
From the outside, I'm sorry to sound cynical, but I think it's a reality.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Billy, for that.
Thanks very much. Okay. I appreciate you for the time. Bye-bye.
Before we grab the other call, I just want to point out again about the real estate industry. Extremely lucrative, for those real estate agents. Real estate agents, remember now, in the Cayman Islands, you do not have to have any form of residency. You do not have to possess Caymanian status to own property in the Cayman Islands. Here's a nice little twist for you. Those real estate agents can come in on the ground floor when a development is being built and buy in early as agents themselves, because there is, other than whatever industry rules and regulations that they may have, there is no legislation that bars them from investing into a property. So I, on one occasion, with a family member, looking at a unit, and that real estate agent admitted that they had purchased one of the units in there at the early going price when it was being developed. That person was on a work permit. What advantage does that give them? They already have, if not the whole foot, 1 foot in, they have 6 toes. That means 1 foot and part of the other one into the door to residency and ultimately Caymanian status, simply by being here on a work permit, but being a real estate agent who sells property but is able to benefit from the position that they find themselves in based on the information that they have and their ability, because if they're selling, for those units, they're going to get commission. They use that commission to purchase their own unit there, which they probably, if they're not going to live in, going to rent out as well. Just want to point that out. Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
See?
Yeah, good morning, my friend. How are you?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I have one little sort of hands-free device. I want to make sure.
Because the cameras may be watching you.
But I'm in full compliance. You have a lively conversation going, but I want to touch on 2 little things that is in sync with what you're talking about.
Sure.
I have to wonder sometimes if the government realizes each government comes in campaigns on some little area of it about protecting local businesses and protecting Caymanian interests, that kind of stuff. But then when they get in, then that sort of disappears. But I'm wondering if they realize it's only 30,000 of us here that is on this piece of land, that if things go bad, things go south, that will probably remain. And really, they have got to be certain businesses that can do business in Cayman that are reserved for Caymanians. And then yes, we have to wrap up the make it much more robust or something to curtail this thing about fronting, because even though you might say, okay, well we're gonna carve out certain businesses that are only for Caymanians, because really, entrepreneurship is a fantastic thing, but you have to make some sort of provisions to allow Caymanians, young Caymanians, to start up the business. And if you are allowing other people to do it with much more capital, then the actual writing is on the wall as to what the outcome will be. And I think we need to have some carve out as to certain businesses that can operate here, which is owned by Caymanians, and then also some sort of robustness, more sort of checks done to sort of curtail the sort of fronting, because you can carve out all you want, but then if you have some funding going on, it's actually defeating the purpose altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to watch that. I also think that government needs to beef up a department within government to look after the banks. SEMA is a regulatory authority.
Yeah.
It looks after the capital here, looks after liquidity, looks after safety, looks after good governance in terms of actually KYC and that kind of stuff. But what we need is really a department within banks that can have a free flow sort of channel of actually communication with the banks to have them come in, discuss areas that are of actual concern, cost. I think banks are really going a bit overboard now because all they're really looking at is charges. The margin on interest on loans, especially mortgages, is low because the prime rate is low. But really, you get you get kind of nausy looking at your statement each month with the various little charges for every
fees. Yes.
The account. They want to encourage online banking and they want to encourage internet banking. But if you go to the bank, if you go to the ATM and you use your debit card, or you go to a restaurant and use your debit card, there's a charge for that. They're having the cake and eating it too. And I think we need to watch that and have some sort of department and I think government that can take a much more active role in watching these fees. Checks $10 and some places $5. So it's not something that they have to do because each bank has their own rate. And then
caller, I have to interrupt you there. I've reached my commercial break. We have two other callers on hold as well. But sorry, I have to interrupt you at this point in time, sorry, because we have to go to a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vant Motors has 3 great reasons why you should own the Toyota CHR. Hybrids save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven. So there's no need to plug in your hybrid, making it both economical and fun to drive. And you don't have to replace your battery every 2 years. The CHR Hybrid is reliable, providing up to 1 million kilometers on the same battery and engine. Oh, and now you can save $2,000 off the Toyota CHR, starting at only $33,500.
That's way more than 3 reasons.
True, but the best one is that it's on sale now. Test drive the Toyota CHR today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road, while stocks last.
Hi, I'm remodeling a bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have 3 callers queued up. We're going to ask each caller to please be as brief as possible while we want to give you an opportunity to express yourself and to articulate exactly what you want to get across. So we want you to try to do that as briefly as possible as well. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
OC, sorry, call you back.
That's
again,
okay.
but
No apologies.
Calling about you talk about the real estate. I'm congratulating the government for stepping in. They needed to step in for a long time because a lot of those people have come to Cayman and was bartenders are now selling condos and everything.
So,
and we need the government, we're calling on the government to go in and change that point system that is allowing them to qualify to get residency, or PR as we call it, because they're using that, they're encouraging foreign investors to come here to buy. A lot of people are being bidded on their property. Because I can tell you for a fact, I know a piece of land right in my area now that was bought in 1971 by a foreign investor here, and now they're selling that same piece of land for $699,000.
So, caller, what is it that you believe when you saw that headline? And I'm going to find it and read it as well. What is your interpretation of that? You believe that what they're saying there is that they're going to step in and that they're going to limit the number of work permits that are issued in the field of real estate agents. Do you believe that that's what they're saying there?
Yeah, sort of. I don't believe.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that that's what they're saying. My interpretation of that is that there's no appetite or to restrict it at this point in time. That was my reading, but maybe I'm wrong, and if I am, somebody please let me know that I'm wrong.
We need to go back to the drawing table with them to let them know that we understand different from what they're trying to make people believe that it is, because we did the same thing. We gotta make them know that we're not taking no more of this foolishness like when the Minister Sabrina Turner decided that she was going to be one part of the government. She changed her mind. They got up and they made her stand up, be accountable for her actions, because this is what's happened to the Caymanians all these years. We sit down again. We played dead for so long that they all bought us for fools, and we're sick of being tired of being used by these people. So we're calling on the government to look into that policy again. That's not how a lot of people is interpreting maybe the way you just said it, and maybe that's what it is. And some people is thinking that that they went and they made some good changes. But we need to call them back, make them know that we see what's going on, and we need to change the point system, because these people that are applying for PR are just using Caymanians to get what they want as usual. And you can go out and walk a dog, you can go, but you got people that are in desperate need. The government, they need to invest. What these investors need to invest is educating our people so that they stop using them for their scapegoat.
Okay, caller, thank you very much for that. Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O'Connor.
Good morning, sir. How are you? Nice to hear your voice.
Okay, thank you. So concerning the real estate industry here in the Cayman Islands, and concerning people here on work permits that are making all the money off this real estate and not allowing our Caymanians to make any of that money. And by us allowing them to do what they please, they're becoming like some of our banks here in the Cayman Islands, legal thieves. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, caller, for that. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to... So let's go to our Constitution, Cayman Islands Constitution Order. The Bill of Rights, Section 16, non-discrimination. And I'm not gonna part and parcel this as well. I'm gonna read it verbatim. Section 16.1 says, subject to subsections 3, 4, 5, and 6, government shall not treat any person in a discriminatory manner in respect of the rights under this part of the Constitution. In this section, discriminatory means affording different and unjustifiable treatment to different persons on any ground such as sex, race, color, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, association with a national minority, age, mental or physical disability, property, birth, or other status. That's what it says. That's what the government cannot do. I'm going to pause for a second before I go on to the other one. This, folks, only relates to the government. So any other player outside of government, your job, a business discriminates against you, unless there are laws otherwise that govern them, there's basically nothing that you can do in the private sector. You hear people talking about being bullied, being forced, either constructive dismissal from their jobs, being made to feel uncomfortable in their job, maybe because they're there with a Caymanian accent and everyone around them is either has an English accent, a Canadian accent, an American accent, a Spanish accent, or whatever. Unless there is legislation, otherwise the Constitution does not protect you because it only relates to government. But yet we hear people complaining, in the private sector. So unless there are laws otherwise there to protect you, the Constitution doesn't, because it is only applicable to the government. But here's what the government can do for you as a Caymanian. Here's what they can do for you in terms of what they're in charge of. Subsection 3 of Section 16 says that no law or decision of any public official, that means persons in government, working for government, shall convene this section if it has an objective. That means that if it is designed to, if it has an objective and reasonably justification and is reasonably proportionate to its aim in the interest of defense, public safety, good order, public morality, public health. There is, gotta rush with this. Okay, then when we look at subsection 5, it says, nothing in any law shall be held to contravene subsection 1 to the extent that it requires a person to be a Caymanian. I'm going to read that again. Nothing in any law shall be held to contravene subsection 1 to the extent that it requires a person to be a Caymanian or to possess any other qualification, not being a qualification specifically related to any such description on grounds as mentioned in subsection 2, in order to be eligible for appointment to any office in the public service or in a discipline force or any office in the service of a local government authority or a body corporate established directly by any law for public purposes. So the government can enact things in relation to government's work that favor Caymanians. But also, the government can issue directives or regulations to the various boards, and if they wanted to say the same way that there are regulations, specific to, businesses having, a training program identifying Caymanians to fill positions that may be held by others to show what training programs that they have in place, what succession programs they have in place for Caymanians. I believe that the government can also say we're going to restrict the issue of work permits for persons in the real estate industry or any other industry in terms of work permits because of our need and our desire to protect Caymanians. Folks, top of the hour headline news at 9 o'clock. When we return, we do have callers on hold, and we will take those callers, so please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government says on Friday there were 204 positive cases of COVID-19 reported, 156 on Saturday and 175 on Sunday. 7 of those positives were in the Sister Islands. Currently, Cayman has at least 5,300 active cases. MPs in the UK say firms have been hit hard by, quote, increased costs, paperwork, and border delays as a result of Brexit. A report from Parliament's spending watchdog, the Public Accounts Committee, said it was, quote, clear that leaving the European Union was having an impact on UK trade volumes. It also warned things could worsen this year as new import controls come in. The government said it continued to ensure businesses, quote, got the support they need to trade effectively with Europe. And the University of California has agreed to pay $250 million to more than 200 women who alleged they were sexually assaulted by a campus gynecologist. Multiple women accused the university's Los Angeles side of deliberately hiding James Heap's alleged sexual abuse of patients. He was based at the UCLA Student Health Center during his 35-year career between 1983 and 2018. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. As promised, we're going straight to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. Good morning, OC, and the beautiful people of the Cayman Islands.
Good morning.
I just thought I'd add in my little 2 cents. Years ago, when my dad and my grandfathers went to sea, when you showed a Cayman passport to work overseas, you were more than welcome because they knew that they want to get what they asking for, and that job was going to be done and done right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to rent an apartment, you dare not show them that you're a Caymanian and you own a Cayman passport. Your chances of getting an apartment, a decent apartment, slim to none. The foreigners are getting it. The other thing is, all the land that's being sold, I feel so sorry for our children that are coming up behind us. What will they have to buy, OC? Swamp land for $75,000? I mean, these people are coming in here, buying these apartments, and like the caller's been saying, what is going to stop these people from taking advantage of our beautiful island? They need more apprenticeship programs where we can have our own Cayman real estate agents, and even those agents must be able to help other Caymanians to elevate.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So that's my. It's scary.
It is.
What land are we going to have left for your children, my children, our grandchildren? Okay. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that, caller. And of course, some people will say, well, in many instances, there are Caymanians who are selling their lands. But also there are many instances where lands were acquired at early stages. I had a conversation yesterday with a gentleman, and he was talking about a particular piece of property that was originally sold for furniture. Furniture was valued probably around $12,000 at that point in time. I think the whole deal came up to about $30-something thousand. when a particular road was being built and the property was being acquired, of course, the landowner was not resident in the Cayman Islands. Government put the money in an escrow account for that individual. I think it was something like over $300,000 that went to that individual. When that individual was finally located by someone who had an interest in purchasing that property, they wanted to sell it for $500,000, $500,000. Eventually, the sale was entered into. So from a $12,000 furniture deal or $30,000 furniture deal, the individual, non-Caymanian, ended up with $800,000 and odd $500,000 for the sale, plus $300,000 and odd held in an escrow account for that individual for government compulsorily acquiring a portion of that property, for a road, as well. Let's grab another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Very well, thank you, sir. Okay, I'm going to be quick and sweet.
Okay.
Okay, you're coming along Albert Panton from LA, heading towards Cardinal Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of Albert Panton, when you reach the Cardinal, if you look towards seafarers,
mm-hmm,
there's a board that's causing view obstruction. And when you're driving, you shouldn't take chances. If you are taking a chance, it's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
A driver should not take chance, because if you take a chance, you're taking a chance with your life and someone else's life.
Yeah.
I learned that on my driver training course.
Mm-hmm.
Never take that chance. So let's move on. Sir, I don't know who gave it permission to put that board. I would like you to take a drive down there later on when you leave the radio station. Have a look at what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. I made a similar observation on the eastern end of the island where the vehicle licensing is located in breakers. And when you're coming out there and you're looking towards the southeast or to the east as well, there was the signage there. And of course, on that stretch of the road, there are dump trucks that are crossing there constantly. But you actually had to either go out a distance or stay further back in order to not have your view blocked, looking towards the east. And I would imagine that things of that nature, that between the traffic department and the National Roads Authority, these are things that they should be collaborating on.
And guess what? The speed there is 30 miles per hour.
Yeah.
But guess what? Those dump trucks don't do 30.
No.
I'm gonna give you one fact. A vehicle doing 30 miles per hour is doing 44 feet every second. I'm not going to tell you this morning how you get the 44 feet. Another time, this is another lesson. But we need to sort out who put it.
All has to do with the laws of physics.
No, not really. We'll get to that another time. We need to sort out the board. Maybe it's planning that's up. I put that board there. NRA, I don't know. We're not going to put it on anyone. But if we can get a board move, we might save someone's life.
Got you. Caller, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay.
For that as well. Any more callers on hold, Ms. Susan? No more callers on hold. So, like I pointed out before, in relation to one of the other callers talking about, who mentioned about property. Yesterday again, this conversation that I had with the gentleman, and I have said this over and over and over again. Everyone's talking about real estate. We see the figures now, $1.43 billion in transactions last year. And in essence, nobody's going out there advertising. I'm not that I'm aware of advertising internationally. Purchase land in the Cayman Islands, buy land in the Cayman Islands. Business is good in the Cayman Islands. It's all happening, because of possibly the availability of money, possibly because of COVID-19 and less spending being done. But whatever it is, the activity is out there. The demand is out there. I have said over and over again, and of course, one of our callers also referred to the fact that, property being owned and purchased in the 1970s for whatever, now being sold for an exorbitant amount of money. Remember that we go way back, cadastral survey days, and prior to that, any individual could own property in the Cayman Islands. Many of those tourists that we talk about who came to the Cayman Islands and loved the serenity, the quietness and everything else, saw opportunities and purchased property. You even have some of them, unless they had it documented properly and they let their children or other family members know, probably ended up passing on, and family members not knowing that they own property in the Cayman Islands. I have argued and pointed out that one way to get land, property back in the hands of Caymanians, is to impose an annual land tax on any property owned by non-Caymanian that is laying fallow, that is being unused, just sitting there for speculative purposes for the individual owner of that property to make a windfall profit later on. We have the ability in the Cayman Islands to know whether or not a person who owns a property is Caymanian or not, being an individual or a body corporate as well. We have the ability to know that. Now, yes, the government and all governments rely on that revenue that comes from stamp duty. You're not going to in any way adversely affect your ability to collect stamp duty. As a matter of fact, that annual tax that would be paid by non-Caymanian landowners may help to mitigate any loss that may be made from the loss of stamp duty. If we are to get property, land, raw land or whatever, back in the hands of Caymanians in this country, we have to act, and we have to act now. The longer we wait, the more difficult it becomes. The longer we wait, it means that those trying to address the inequalities that are taking place, it means that they will have to take more drastic action than is being proposed now, if we try to do it now. Now, yes, the government has only been in place for less than a year at this point in time. But what we want to say to the government as well, don't wait 1 year before the election to do some of the things that need to be done now. They can have just as much impact in 2025 as they will have an impact now if it is done now. People are out there, they're looking, they're asking for more to be done. You have the support to do it. I believe that whatever we do to enhance and also to protect our Caymanians will be supported by the United Kingdom, because the United Kingdom, they're experiencing similar challenges in their own country. Right over there, they're experiencing similar challenges as well. But if we do it on the basis that we're doing it to protect our people, and we need to put our people before the financial interests of this country. Yes, financial interests are important because we have to continue to survive. We have to, run an economy as well. But if we're doing that at the expense of Caymanians, the 30,000 or more who are left here, folks, we're not in a good place at all. We're not in a good place if we're doing it at the expense of those. Time for us to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Are you feeling sick but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
You can now book and pay online for your certified lateral flow test at www.hsa.ky/appointment. It's fast, easy, and convenient. Certified LFTs are $25 per test per person. HSA's testing center is located at 131 Center, McClendon Drive, behind Foster's Airport. Walk-ins for certified LFTs are also available. Need a PCR test for travel? These are now only $75. Visit hsa.ky/appointment for more information.
Excuse me, I noticed you from afar.
Really? Me?
Well, not you. The KFC sandwich you're eating?
Oh, Zinger.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be funny.
No, it's called the Zinger Sandwich. Crunchy, juicy, 100% chicken breast, crisp lettuce, sweet mayo on a seeded bun with a little zing. KFC's chicken is not factory breaded, frozen and refried like the Burger Boys. Customize your KFC Zinger and dip it in barbecue sauce.
Wow, now I'm starting to notice you too.
KFC, it's finger licking good.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. Back to the phone lines as promised. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, hanging in. A year ago was a whole lot better.
It'll get better. It'll get better soon.
I'm thankful. Yeah, I was listening to your show this morning, and I was online, but I hung up the phone. And a lot of those people was calling in regards to the cameras and the driving and so forth. You know, it's all true.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about no cameras on the streets, we don't have any proof that they are actually working, and if they can be held up in court for a case.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say down at the Oval there on Smith Road, there should be a police there, I would say, in the morning traffic. Because even at lunchtime, we got cars running, all 2 and 3 cars to the red, like when they already lost the chance to turn, they are still coming, and it's your turn to go. A couple mornings, our bus was it was our turn to turn, and my goodness, once in front of us, 2 vehicles in front of us still coming. Unbelievable. But I gotta say this is, I don't care what we try to do on the streets here to try to protect people.
Mm-hmm.
It is the people. It's the drivers. They are driving and they don't care. I watch these people. I look at them and I say, something. These people drive as if they can't get an accident, and what they're driving will not have a fender bender on it when they hit somebody.
Yeah.
You go to the bank and you get money, get all these fines for cards, and they come out here and act like a fool, and you got to make that payment to the bank, and you probably don't have a home of your own to live in. You're renting somewhere, don't no disrespect at all. But come out here and drive civilized instead of drive uncivilized and hurt innocent people. And I just want to say that, we beat up on the expats that is here and the investors and everything. And I know they're saying, what is wrong with these few Caymanians? Here we are trying to build up this country, but who we build it for is not for us. We can't get a job and we can't own a piece of property. So, we have no other choice but come out and beat up on them to the fact that they're just here as a bunch of go-getters, and to heck with who they come and find here. We don't want them to give us anything for free. But I feel that when they come here and invest in our little baby island, it is only more than fair that they invest into our schools, into our medical section, and in our housing for people that so need of help, and in our retirement homes for our senior citizens. That is where that money should be going when they come here and save so much money and bringing in all the materials and not paying any duties and getting free concession and all that kind of crap. Or to say that, we give that so much concession. But you go to Manor Bay, you got to pay $5 for ice cream cone. $5 CI for ice cream cone. A bag of popcorn small is almost is $5 as well too. I can go to the grocery store and buy a pack of popcorn and get 3 packs of it and eat it to my leisure. Same thing with ice cream. So who are they really billing for? And sometimes I'm sick and tired of hearing the foreigners, the investors. But we as Caymanians, we have no other choice but to sit down and beat them up to a degree. Because that's why America got so many poor people right now, because when these scheme investors made the lawyers and the doctors and stuff be homeless on the streets in America. You look, the majority of people on the street in America and elsewhere, there are doctors and lawyers and such, They're not uneducated people of that degree. Those people lost their businesses through these investors and so forth. And here we are bringing them here like they're a glass, a pot of Pepsi, and drink it down and everything is just fine. Look up here by Hurlers. Those buildings that they're put on the water side there. I don't know what they look like. If the beautification is facing the water, well, we got the rough end of the stick. We got the awareness facing us on our main street when we got to cross them every day. We want